Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate today my final project. The project was a chess database that I utilized to make 3 queries and a GUI that allows you to work with these queries. So let's get started with this. Let's just open up our GUI real quick. So we're going to start off just by showing off the project and we'll go through the code. So here's the main window. It gives you a welcoming message, and then you have 3 picks for your queries here. Each one has a drop-down menu which lets you choose between what chess opening you would like to get data on. And let's just say we choose this one, click Learn, and it opens a window, and as you can see, based on query 1, which is win-loss rate, it gives you your win rate, your loss rate, and if it's applicable, a draw rate. There is a example of it not having a draw rate right there. And then there's a pick rate as well for a query, which just tells you how off the percentage of time that this opening is picked compared to all the other openings in the database, and the average amount of turns an opening takes. So for instance, this one takes 56 turns. Now there would be a larger list of openings here, but due to time constraints I was only able to hard code in a list of openings for now. I wasn't able to make a method to grab every single opening from the database. So it's a little bit limited in that sense and not the scope I wanted to reach, but in the future, if I have time, I might come back and do that just for fun. But walking you through the code now, this is the GUI code right here. So up here I make our main window and make our options. Then here we give our selection lists, and then in these 3 functions are where we open a new window for each query, grab the opening that is selected, call our database right here, and then make some frames to display our data, and then here we display our data for each one. It's pretty much the same in each function. And then down here is the main window code, so we make 3 frames here, and we create our welcoming message, and then each frame is basically just a line for each query, and they're all separated out. So that's our front end code. We'll take a look at our back end code. So our back end code, right here we have our database, call 1, call 2, and call 3. Each one takes an opening name, which is grabbed from the query list on the front end and then sent to the back end this way. We create our connection, we make our query statement, and we add in our custom opening, and then we execute it. Then we get our total on this one, for instance, make our final list, go through a for loop to get our calculation that we need for this query, and then we do another for loop to get our final calculation for this query, and then we return that. And each one's fairly similar to that, just different math for each one. And that's our back-end code. And then we have one more section, which is our connection code, which this is grabbed from the example on Blackboard of how to connect to a database in SQLite 3 with Python. So right here we create our connection, and then right here we can execute our query and execute our read query. And yeah, so that is my final project. Right here you can see I have my database Excel sheet that was turned into a database file using SQLite 3 as well. And then we also have an instruction manual. But that is the final project. I deviated a little bit from my original intentions, as I originally intended for the backend to be completely written in C++ code, but I ran into some complications due to my workspace that I was using. I was using a Linux-based workspace inside of Windows, and because of the way that PyBind 11 works with connecting to databases, or to connecting C++ and Python, it was not translating well between trying to run it in Windows and Linux. So due to time constraints with studying for finals and other homework projects, I decided to just scrap that part of the project and just write the backend code in Python to make things a little bit easier. That way I could at least deliver a finished product. But thank you for watching.